All right, here we are, Talkin Balls, episode 2. That was a great call there.
Oh,
and the
great call. That was what a great game. Epic
Clemson,
finish.
Alabama, man. It was absolutely insane.
I got to come right out and say this, first of all, as we kick off episode 2 of Talkin Balls. Are we there? Okay, I know we're on Facebook now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
First of all, I I was really in the game the entire night, but I have to admit, I just moved into a new house. I'm kind of spent. Yes, I was dozing off towards the end. And I'm ashamed to admit, because then I watched it over and over again. I mean, I caught bits and pieces. I saw Clemson win, but I'm like, I was really pissed.
Right. Well, here's what happened with me. I was here, right, and I'm watching it on the stream, and then for some reason the stream stopped working, so I'm watching just the ESPN updates. And then midnight, so I go to take off. It's 24-21 Alabama.
Yeah.
By the time I got home, there was like 6 minutes left in the game. By the time I got home, it was over, and 35-31 was the final score, right? They went nuts in the last 6 minutes of the game.
And as good as an entertaining of a football game as it was a little bit on the long side. But I will say this, and you probably heard this today, Shane. Alabama, that was the first time they trailed in the fourth quarter all year.
That's nuts. Yeah, they have been just a second half team. They all year long. Just when you think, oh man, maybe this is the week Alabama's going to lose, they start off slow, and then they were just powerhouses in the second half all season long until last night when it mattered the most.
Because let's face it, Alabama is the Patriots of college football. I mean, they're right. Oh, come
he
on.
had to
come
throw
on
that
now.
in there.
Yeah,
he had
of
to throw that in there.
Nick Saban, Bill Belichick. I mean, they're buddies. But a lot of people say, "Ooh, that was an upset." No, I wouldn't say it was that big of an upset. Now I know Clemson had some close calls this year at home against NC State, against Troy.
Louisville, they lost to Louisville, right?
Yeah, and no, it was Pittsburgh.
Pitt, that's right.
Yeah, Pitt.
Because Pitt beat them, and Pitt beat Penn State early in the season.
Yeah.
Dave says, what are your picks for the divisional playoff games this weekend?
We'll
get there.
Yeah,
be patient.
Yeah, calm down.
We're talking college football right now, Dave.
I should pull this up on my Facebook feed, too.
There we go.
But, so you were just getting home. You saw, like, the last 6 minutes. I was in bed dozing. I had it on, but I kept, like, forcing myself to, I had 2 dogs in between me, so I'm like, and my wife, who doesn't care anything about sports, I'm like, I'm dozing, my eyes are like, come on, just stay awake, it's a great game. And I finally saw Clemson pull it out, and I'm like, I'm mad because I missed the final play. I saw them jumping all over each other. And, what an epic finish to.
They're saying between that and the Texas USC game, best college football championship games of all time, right there. What do you think? If you had to pick one game to watch over and over again, which would you pick?
That's definitely up there. There were a lot of fantastic finishes. I think the '96 Fiesta Bowl had a crazy finish. Even last year's Alabama Clemson game, where Alabama came came from a huge deficit to win that game 45-40. But let's talk about Deshaun Watson for a second.
Clutch.
Hello, he should have. He had Heisman written all over him, especially in that game. I mean, I can see and I've watched I don't want to say I've watched a lot of Clemson games this year because honestly I haven't. But we've seen enough of Deshaun Watson on national TV, especially last night, that and Shane, you have a good eye for this too. I think he's going to be a good pro.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going out on a limb saying that, but I mean, he's got the body makeup. He's got the. It seems like he's got the drive, the intensity. I mean,
it's all about the situation that he is put in. If he gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns, for example, like your post the other day, is he going to be a great pro? I don't know. But if if people wait on him a little bit and he goes in the later first round, something like that, and he's put in a situation where he's not thrown into the fire right away. I mean, I go back to anytime we talk about quarterbacks with huge potential coming out of college, I always look at Joey Harrington. And I always see
of course, it was Joey Harrington.
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy was absolutely beat
awful
up his first couple of years. No, he was not awful as a quarterback. He was constantly under pressure. They had absolutely no offensive line.
If you're new to Talkin Balls, Shane is a diehard Lions fan. I'm a Patriots fan. So we should just reintroduce ourselves there. Okay.
So, and he got skittish. He got happy feet after a year or two of just getting his butt kicked right and left, up, down, sideways, every which way. And he got skittish, and he never had the opportunity to live up to his potential. Then you see a guy like Tom Brady, who was drafted in the 7th round.
6th round, pick 199.
6th round, okay. He watches Drew Bledsoe for a couple years. He's under, one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game. He's got a great offensive line behind him. Honestly, and say what you will about this, but if you flip Joey Harrington and Tom Brady's career, we wouldn't know the name Tom Brady right now, and we'd be talking about Joey Harrington as one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the league.
Well, the Patriots lucked out with Drew Bledsoe getting hurt and all that, obviously.
Well,
so you're saying, let's go back to Watson for a second. He's not one of those guys you'd throw right into the fire? I mean, I would.
No.
Really?
No, I wouldn't.
The guy's incredibly athletic. I mean, he can perform.
So was RG3, huh?
Okay, wait. If you're.
So was RG3.
Yeah, but if you play, all right, you're the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
You're not going to throw him into week 1. I mean, and say, here you go, keys are yours. Give him the keys to the car. Let him go.
Absolutely not.
The Browns suck. You got to give him the keys.
I know. That's why you can't throw him in there. You need to build. Any good football team is built from the line out.
Except
so you build
the Browns when you've had nothing to lose. Just give the keys to Deshaun Watson and let him run, baby.
Let him get beat up for an entire season and get knocked around and get a concussion and get happy feet and never live up to the potential that he can be.
He'll do better than RG3. Tell you that.
Well, what do you base that on? RG3 was great his first year.
No, he's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
That was it. They figured him out, and we could bring another guy who's right down the hall here in the building, Dave Elder. Could talk a little about RG3. But maybe he can join us another time.
Ouch.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not entirely shocked that Clemson won last night, and I know you probably aren't either because you and I do follow college football.
Yep.
I'll be honest, you probably follow a little more than me, being a big Michigan Wolverines fan. But I will say this: it was a minor upset. It was nothing earth-shattering. That's what we wanted, a great college football national championship game last night. We got it. Because at one point, when it was 17-7 Alabama, I got to be honest. I mean, I was waiting for the Tide just to step on the gas. But, Clemson fired back, man, at 17-14. That's when I was just getting into bed. And I'm like, this is bad news. I should have just went to my living room and sat up for the whole rest of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was just, what an incredible game. Can't say enough
it
about
was.
it.
And we both made picks going into the game. We both picked Alabama. I think overall I was closer in my final score pick because I picked, what did I say, 38-34 Alabama, and you were 27-21 Alabama.
That was like the first thing I thought of when I woke up this morning. Our predictions. I said 27-21 Alabama, so you were probably a little bit closer. Yeah, you said 38-34. So, I mean, for a while, my prediction was looking good. I'm like,
it was looking real good.
Here we go, baby. Here we go. And then, it doesn't matter. Money on that prediction.
Right.
But it's kind of a way you like to, put a bow on the college football season.
Yeah. And speaking of, okay, so what are you most looking forward to for next season in college football?
Well, as far as, we know Clemson's not going to. Clemson won't be around because Deshaun Watson's going to the NFL.
Right.
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah. As a generic college football fan.
Thank you, because that's exactly what I am. Because I grew up in the Yukon area, and UConn's not even close to being.
Hey, they went to the Fiesta Bowl
thanks
once.
to Randy Etzel, who's now back. And I think Randy, that's a whole other story. But what am I looking forward to? I'd like to see someone give Alabama a little more confidence, because Alabama's always going to be there. Let's face it. They're saying LSU is going to be right in the thick of things. Florida State, Penn State, which I don't want to get into again. I can't stand Penn State. They'll probably be in the running somewhere in the top 10. What about you? I mean, I know I got to ask you, being a big Michigan Wolverines fan, we go through this all the time. I still think you're not out of the woods with Harbaugh going to the NFL yet. I still think. Now, for your sake, I hope he stays.
Yeah, and he will. He will. There's no reason. There's some guys that are just meant to be college coaches, and there's some guys that are meant to be NFL coaches, and I truly believe that Jim Harbaugh is one of the guys that's meant to be a college coach. He tried it in the NFL. He was unsuccessful. He was successful for a couple of years, but the front office, the players, they got tired of him after a while. His hard-nosed attitude and that kind of thing, and it's just the way that he coaches translates better to NCAA football than it does.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding.
That's the whole reason I told you to put the headphones on so you could hear me.
All right, so on that same.
I'm looking forward to Ohio State-Michigan game being in the Big House this year, and That's what I'm looking for. Any Michigan fan, that's the date that you circle as soon as the last season ends. Okay, when's the next time we get Ohio State? Boom, there it is.
Take your heart out of it for a second. Where does Michigan finish in the top 10? Or are they in the top 10?
I think they're a top 10 team for sure next year. I think anything short of winning the Big Ten and a spot in the playoff is a failure next year.
Okay. Another college football question, since you're more of a college football guru than I am. Does Saban ever entertain the idea of possibly going back to the NFL?
Tried it, didn't work.
Well, I know.
think
Will
he's
he ever go back?
No, I don't. Not if he's smart. Same as Harbaugh. He's just one of those guys that's just suited
But you know,
to
some
coach
of these
college
guys
guys.
are hungry to prove hey, I can win in the NFL. It's the ego. It's the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I'm telling you right now. And I love Harbaugh. I agree with you. Harbaugh, I love him in college. I love Saban in college. These guys have huge egos, and they have shit to prove, and they're gonna. I guarantee one or both of them are going back to the NFL.
How many times have you seen a successful college coach makes that transition? I mean, Steve Spurrier tried it. Who else comes to mind? Saban obviously tried it. Harbaugh.
Wasn't there a college coach who did go and came back and was successful? Wasn't there one? It was recently, wasn't there?
Nobody comes to mind.
I thought there was somebody that was a flop and then came back to the NFL and gave it a second shot. Oh, Pete Carroll.
Oh, okay. Pete Carroll is the one, but Chip Kelly. I mean, there's a lot more that are not successful in the NFL. Pete Carroll is the one exception to the rule.
Chip Kelly will go back to college, and I think he'll come back to the NFL as a good coach. Because Chip, first of all, San Francisco, we talked about this last week, they're idiots out there.
Sure.
I mean, you don't give him 1 year. Come
No,
on, please.
no.
He wasn't
That's
that
not
bad.
fair.
Yes, he shit the bed with the Eagles, but the first couple years, he was pretty good. Chip Kelly is a good coach, college or pro.
Yep.
So he flopped. I think he should go back to college, do what he did at Oregon, and then he'll come back to the NFL.
Well, and like we were saying before, you hire a guy that you know coming in is going to want to change everything that you've been doing, and you only give him a year? I mean, that just doesn't make sense from a front office standpoint
there are a bunch of idiots
whatsoever.
out there because they've had three coaches in 3 years, three coaches. Who does that?
Yeah,
You're
that
paying
doesn't make sense.
$69 million in coaches. All right. Well, speaking of NFL, do you think we should turn the page here and or do you want to
Talk some playoffs?
Let's do it.
Playoffs?
Oh God, we were meant to do this podcast.
I guess.
Coke.
So let's recap last week. Not a lot of exciting
You really
games.
want to recap that crap?
I mean, I don't want to. It's our job. We kind of have to.
I think people.
We'll start with the Seahawks Lions and get that out of the way. The Lions, they are who we thought they were.
Oh,
I gotta find that clip from Dennis Green and throw it in there. They
that was a
are
classic.
who we thought we were. But
there were a lot of people, Shane. There were a lot of people, including my cousin, who was texting me, and I don't know if he's watching this right now, Andy, who he texted me. I guess it was last Friday. He's like, hey son, we call each other son. Long story. He's like, do you want? I said, I'm taking the Lions. Want to go Seahawks? And he was trying to push a bet on me.
Okay.
I'm like, no, because last time we bet, bad things happened. But, I was tempted because I knew Seattle was going to win the game. But I'm like, why is he so high on the Lions? And then I heard a few other people I'm like, there's no way the Lions are going into Seattle.
No, all those people
Seahawks.
that were high on the Lions are just people who hate the Seahawks and wanted to see the Lions win, but haven't watched very many Lions games throughout the course of the year. The fans of the Detroit Lions who have watched them play and who know this team pretty much knew that they were going to lose this game. And I thought, I thought they would make a little bit more of an effort. I thought they would make it a little closer game than they did, but their offense just, and it comes back to Jim Bob Cooter.
Jimbo.
He gets all this praise after turning the season around last year, but if you look at his body of work over the last month, I don't know if he is who we think he was.
You're about Dennis Green, aren't you? Hey, I gotta admit, Shane, I'm very happy my cable went out on Saturday night.
Yeah, you were not subject to that disgusting
cable outage around my way. Yeah, I'm like, I was all pumped up to watch these games, and then I could still follow it on my phone. Texans, Raiders, Lions, Seahawks. I was like, okay, I didn't miss anything. But let's play a quick game of what if.
Okay.
Say the Lions won in Seattle. Would you be one of those people going, oh my goodness, we freaking won in Seattle, we're going to the Super Bowl? No, or yes?
Yeah, it depends on how the game went. I mean, if they went out and really played a great game and dominated Seattle, then I would think, okay, they flipped a switch, they finally played a complete game, they know what that feels like, And I said to you before the playoffs ever started, if the Detroit Lions could figure out how to play 60 minutes of football, they can beat anybody in the league. Anybody in the league. Well, that's a big if.
I'm kidding.
But it is what it is.
No, you and I, in all seriousness, have talked about there is talent on that team. And we talked about this yesterday in the office. Stafford, yeah, you don't want to get rid of. Who else are you going to bring in there? Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. We know that. Look, you got to the playoffs without Calvin Johnson. I mean, baby steps, you know? I mean,
it's discouraging because you can't look at one specific area on this team and say the secondary needs to be overhauled. The offensive, defensive line needs to be overhauled, something like that. There's talent in every aspect of this team. So it's tough. You know, it's just discouraging to be a Lions fan in general, and we'll just leave it at that, and we'll move on to Sunday's games.
Come over to my side. Come on. Come be a Pats fan.
No. I got to stick with my team through thick and thin.
Through thick and thin. Big boy football. Come on.
So then you've got the two games on Sunday.
Yeah, I noticed how you skipped right over Texans Raiders.
There's not much to talk about
garbage.
there.
Brock Osweiler. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
Brock Osweiler against Connor Cook. Yeah, move on to Sunday, please.
What a matchup. Then you've got, oh man, I will tell you, I walked into a decidedly Giants bar just before halftime, which if you saw the game, you saw the Hail Mary at the end, and it was awkward in there.
I would have never survived at a Giants bar. Oh, no thank you.
There was a sprinkling of people rooting for the Packers, whether they were actual Packer fans or just Giant haters.
Fans.
Yeah, but man, it was interesting to just watch Aaron Rodgers pick apart that vaunted Giants defense in the second half. I mean, they're a good defense.
The Giants defense kept them in that game. A lot of the blame is going to go on Beckham because the Giants receivers had so many drops. And yes, I'm going to go back to over a week ago, not yesterday, but last Monday, that trip they took to go party with Bieber for a day in Miami. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. And you know, hey, that's fine. If Odell Beckham Jr. and a few of the receivers want to do that, go ahead. Go down there for a day. But you got to back it up. And I believe his quarterback, Eli.
That's what Eli said.
Eli said, I'm all about that. But if you're going to do that, you better come ready to play, or kind of in those words.
Yeah, and you shouldn't think that going down to South Beach on a Monday is going to affect your job performance that much on Sunday. But what else was different in Odell Beckham's preparation all season long? He made spectacular catches. He did these things, and he was just dropping balls right and left, which is uncharacteristic of him. You know, the off the field shenanigans and the punching the kickers,
right.
Well, before that, punching the kicker's net, and then, after the game, beating up the locker and punching a hole in the wall at Lambeau. I mean, those types of things, you got to get a hold on that. I understand that football is an emotional game.
We got to get an intern in here to hold up the phone.
I know, something different has to.
Your arm's got to be killing
I got to get something to maybe clip it onto here.
I
don't know.
For those of you just tuning in, this is episode 2 of Talkin Balls. He's Shane McKenzie. I'm Keith C. Rice. We're still very new, so bear with us. But we thank you for liking our page and being a part of the show. It's up on iTunes. Will be up on iTunes. Episode 1, I guess, is up on iTunes and Google Play.
It's available on Google Play. Yeah. iTunes still hasn't approved it yet because they're snooty, I guess. I don't know what their problem is.
iTunes.
But at Talkin Balls Pod on Facebook and Twitter, talkinballspodcast@gmail.com is the email address. Throughout the week, if you guys think of something that you want us to touch on, an off-the-field issue or something that you want us to discuss, definitely shoot us an email. Shoot us a Facebook message or a Twitter message.
And I'll continue to post Talkin Balls nuggets that I've been doing here.
Those are fun. Yes.
Just a little, don't get annoyed by it, but I like to post stats. I think it's important, especially if you're a sports fan and you follow the show. Also, if you're watching this and you got nothing to do, Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, you want to come hold the phone. For the podcast,
there you go. We need an intern. So anyone who wants to apply, go ahead and apply, and we'll take it under consideration.
But where were we? The Giants game real quick. So
Yep.
the Giants were a pathetic mess, and I was pretty pleased as a Patriots fan to see them go because, well, we won't get into that past history. So now, as a Patriots fan, you got no Giants, no Broncos, no Ravens, so pretty pumped up about that. I know the Steelers are still looming.
Yeah.
We'll get into divisional picks in a sec, but what was the do you really want to talk about that Steelers-Dolphins game? I mean, that was a
Again,
as well.
not a lot to talk about there. The Dolphins with a backup quarterback. You didn't expect much out of them. I believe you did pick the Dolphins to win that game, didn't you?
I did.
Only because I talked you into it. Listen, we were right on all 4 games. I mean, the fact that I talked you into the Dolphins doesn't necessarily count, but the other 4 games we all picked correctly. So,
Yeah, well, I hopefully that won't be the case for the divisional round, but we shall see.
yeah, we will see. How about let's just get right into it. I know you're really excited for this weekend. A huge line in this game.
Well, let's start with the early Saturday game.
Okay,
That's the
all right.
play on Saturday night, 8:15. Let's just kind of go in order here. So I think
Go in
the first
order.
game is Seattle at Atlanta.
Yep.
Okay. I guess you want me to go first, and then we'll make a case for why we're picking.
All right.
All right. This is a tough one, believe it or not. I mean, as much as what the Seahawks have done in the past, they have a Super Bowl title in the past few years. They did lose to the Patriots in 2014, 2015, whatever. And they know how to win with Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll. Atlanta has been sneaky good. They have a lot of offensive weapons. Their defense shows up from time to time. The game is being played at the Georgia Dome, so they got some home cooking. This is really tough, believe it or not, because I really want to go with the Seahawks on the road. There's a part of me that thinks Matty Ice is going to pull it out.
Yeah.
But this is really tough. Do you happen to know what the line is off the top of
You
your
know
head?
what? I don't.
I'm just curious.
Let's see.
'Cause I'm literally-
You can probably look it up on your phone, right?
Yeah, I guess I could, but that would take time.
All right, well.
I can't do 2 things. at once.
Bears sign Ruben Randall to a reserves futures contract. Your thoughts? The Bears? We're talking playoffs.
Yeah, come on, we're not.
Playoffs?
Sorry, we'll get to that in a second.
I'll comment on that
do we have any
later.
other questions before we get into our divisional round?
Not so
picks?
far, no.
Okay. All right, so I got to make a pick here. Oh, this is tough. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going with the Falcons.
Ah, bummer. Well, here's where we differ on this. Because I'm going to pick the Falcons, but I'm going to pick the Falcons based on the fact that the Seattle Seahawks this year have been a completely different team on the road. The Seattle Seahawks have a couple of little injury issues in the secondary, and I think Julio Jones and the guys are going to, I think they're going to do big things. I don't think Seattle's offense is high-powered enough to run with and keep with. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't know what the over-under is, but I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Falcons by double digits in that game.
By double digits.
Mm-hmm.
See, now maybe I'm not going to switch my pick.
No, you can't switch.
No,
you already said
because
it.
I like when we. All right, we should see how we can't force it. All right,
Right.
Next game. Oh, come on. We know we're gonna. The
Yeah.
spread is probably ready for this. I think the spread is still Patriots by 16.
It was 18 last I saw.
Either way, 16 or 18 is the biggest spread since Vikings Cardinals 1998 playoffs.
Yep.
Divisional round, I believe.
You know another game that was an 18 spread? Big game.
Give me a hint.
Super Bowl. Early Super Bowl.
Early Super Bowl. Oh, Jets Colts.
Yep.
Joe Namath.
That spread was 18 points.
We
And it was an upset. I'm just saying that was the upset.
The Houston Texans are not. I mean, if you could make it, if anybody on Facebook Live right now watching Talkin Balls here can make a case why the Texans, and don't be an idiot. If anybody can make a case why the Texans are going to win in Foxborough Saturday night, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Patriots big, and we're talking about like 3 touchdowns.
The only thing that makes me nervous about an 18-point spread, anytime you get 15 and up, more than 2 touchdowns in a spread, that makes it difficult. I think that the Patriots are going to cover that spread, but I wouldn't bet it. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole if I were a betting man, because that's just too scared. There's just too much that can happen at the last minute of that game. Somebody, break down in the secondary, and the Texans end up scoring some late touchdown that makes it a 17-point game or something. 18 is just such a huge spread. I don't like to mess with a spread that's that big.
In Week 3, the Patriots beat the Texans 27-0 with their third-string backup who had a broken thumb.
Again,
A broken thumb. Their third string. They won 27-0 in week 3.
I have confidence in the Patriots' ability to repeat that. I'm just saying I wouldn't put my money on it. That's all.
Okay. So what do you? I'm going to say Pats by 3 touchdowns. What are you saying again?
Pats by 15. Pats win by 15, so they don't cover.
Okay. So how are we looking for time, by the way? 5:30. Okay.
Yep.
I got a bolt by like 5:50.
All right.
Okay. So the Sunday game at 1:05, I think that's the time, is the Packers Cowboys, the late game.
Okay. So you got...
It's Steelers at Chiefs.
This is the toughest game for me to pick. I'll let you go first on this one.
Oh, gee, thanks. This is going to be like a Seahawks-Falcons for me. Because we're early in the week here. I'm still going back and forth, and I was doing that today. As I'm thinking, who could win? Now, Big Ben was in a walking boot after the game the other day. Obviously, he says he's going to play, which he's Big Ben. He's not going to miss this.
Right.
You got to put in Landry Jones with the season on the line.
That we'll come back and change our picks if they put Landry Jones in there.
We'll do a special episode 2.5. I'm going to go. This is so tough because. Man, this whole Andy Reid it's 3-1 off a bye, blah blah blah. I'm not looking into that. It's a small sample size in the playoffs.
Yeah, very.
Kansas City is right up there with one of the loudest buildings in the NFL, almost Seattle.
Yep.
Oh, man, this could go either way too. But the Steelers have been a little bit hotter than Kansas City, and I think I said this to you last week. I see the Steelers going to Foxborough for an AFC Championship game, so I'm saying Pittsburgh.
I was hoping you were going to talk yourself into Kansas City on that one because I've been saying Pittsburgh.
Damn you!
All along.
Come on,
all
this
along.
Fun. We're trying to fight here, folks. We're trying to. I'm trying to.
Well, I
took some shots at the Lions. I'm trying.
I'll do the same thing. I'll say Pittsburgh wins that game easily. I'll say Pittsburgh wins by more than a touchdown.
Fine.
Because
I'll say Pittsburgh by 1. Screw you.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Okay. We need something to go.
And then we've got, I think, the game of the week. I think this game is going to be really fun to watch. You've got Aaron Rodgers and everything that he can do against the 2 rookie sensations in America's team in the Dallas Cowboys. And I
know where you're going.
I cannot bet against Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers says we're going to run the table, they're going to run the table.
You're a Lions fan. You're supposed to go against the Packers. Come on.
I'm not saying I didn't throw up in my mouth a little bit when I said it. I'm just saying, watching what Aaron Rodgers has done over the last 6 or 7 weeks, I can't count him out in any scenario. And you've got 2 rookies. These guys are fantastic players. They've got all kinds of talent. Ezekiel Elliott went to Ohio State. That guarantees he'll never amount to anything in the NFL. So I don't see the Cowboys winning this game.
You know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. I wish the way his season took off after, was it week 10?
Yeah.
He totally screwed me early on with my fantasy team. Totally screwed me. If I had the Aaron Rodgers in the second half of the season,
you didn't trade him in like week 8 or something,
no,
did
I didn't. I was tempted, but I'm sitting there for the first 10 weeks and going, "Hello, wake up, Aaron Rodgers." And he wakes up. When I'm already booted out of the fantasy playoffs.
Okay.
Didn't even make the playoffs thanks to Aaron Rodgers and his shitty first half.
Man,
I will go. Obviously, I agree with you. I don't want to agree, but
I think.
Look, I've seen a lot of Dallas games this year because they're always on national TV.
Yep.
Nothing again. Dak has really. And I watched Dak when he was at Mississippi State. I was like, wow, I watched him a lot because I love the SEC on Saturdays.
Yep.
I never thought in a million years we'd see what he did this year.
No.
But anyway, he was really impressive all year. I like what he's done. That he's proven he can win, except against the Giants. We don't have to worry about them anymore. Did I mention that? And then, they're doing it without Dez Bryant. Ezekiel Elliott is an absolute beast. The game is in Dallas. It still doesn't scare me. I'm going to basically echo what Shane just said. Aaron Rodgers has been unbelievable. In fact, I almost want to just jump to I just gave away kind of like my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, well.
I think we kind of did that last week.
Yeah.
But the Packers are unstoppable right now. So do we only disagreed on one, right?
And even that we picked the same. I just thought that the Falcons are going to roll over the Seahawks, and you think it's going to be a close game. So, unfortunately, and I'm looking at the camera here. We've picked all these games the same. Do we have the same freaking shirt on right now? Is this happening? Like, is this real?
Oh, my. Folks,
we have the same shirt on.
Shane and I ever since we started doing this podcast, we're texting a little more than we usually did. Back in the, we've been in fantasy leagues together, but now that we started this podcast, we got a lot of things that we stay in touch. But I swear that we did not plan our outfits today.
Absolutely not.
I didn't even notice.
I've got more hair than you. That's about the only difference.
I apologize for not. Thank goodness that I'm in the distance here, because one thing I didn't do. One thing I'm glad I'm in the background. I didn't not only shave, but I didn't trim my eyebrows.
Oh my goodness! How could you not trim your eyebrows?
No eyebrow trim. So
what man trims their eyebrows?
Look, I have more eyebrows. I could grow more hair on my eyebrows than my head. Proven fact.
That's all right. Let's see it next week. From now on, okay. Unless you get all your picks right, you can't trim your eyebrows going forward through the Super Bowl.
Really?
How about that?
Oh, I could do a comb over with these damn eyebrows. Seriously.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to see it next week.
My eyebrows trending yet? Okay.
Yeah, well, here we go. Hashtag Keith's eyebrows. I think that's going to be the new hot thing on Twitter, Facebook. And again, you guys, thanks for tuning in to Facebook Live here. We do this every week at 5 o'clock. Then we're available on Mixcloud. We're available on SoundCloud. You can check out the podcast in its audio form. I upload the video to YouTube. You can watch it there. At Talkin Balls Pod on Twitter. At Talkin Balls Pod on Facebook, and then talkinballspodcast@gmail.com is the email address. You guys got questions during the week, something you want us to discuss, we can certainly do that.
And we are, as you mentioned earlier, we are looking for volunteers for someone to hold the phone for Shane.
Yeah.
And we're very new. It's our second episode, so there's going to be we have definitely more to bring to the table here. But it's an exciting time to start a podcast, with the NFL playoffs, the Super Bowl right around the corner and all that.
And by the time that's done, it'll be time to start talking a little spring training baseball.
Man,
can't wait for that.
Can't wait to shit on the Tigers.
Oh, see, there's where we'll disagree. There's where we'll fight. Because you can do that to the Lions all you want, and I pretty much don't have an argument, but you start talking bad about the Tigers, we're going to have issues.
See what David Ortiz did last night?
If that guy comes back, if he comes back, he's got to give back all the little knickknacks and mementos that all these other teams have big ceremonies for him and everything, and then he's going to come back?
That would be.
You kidding me?
I'm not saying this could happen. I could see this playing out. Okay, if he does come back, because let's face it, when the Red Sox got Chris Sale, I think along with everyone else, including myself.
Oh, his interest definitely got
eyes lit up.
Yeah,
and he was kind of hinting at that point too, but. If he were to come back, I could see it, and this has been talked about, where he just plays a certain number of home games. And they give him throw $25 million at him or something.
Is that all?
I did think about what you just said. He's all these nice gifts he received from all over the major leagues.
Everywhere he went.
Yeah, but hey, if the guy wants to come back, you can't stop him. I mean, look at the numbers he put up last year. It was insane.
I know he did. It was odd that
no one's ever done that at 40
he had
years
his best year almost and his final year. But
anybody talking to us on this thing?
A couple. My wife is on there commenting about our same shirts. I mean, that's about.
That is insane. On our second podcast, I can see it was like our 15th or 16th. But how many brown shirts do you own?
Not that many actually. I just pulled this one out.
It's embarrassing
because
I didn't even know.
I had a different shirt on, and my wife made me change right before I left the house because I was.
Back up. She made you change.
Well,
Your wife made you change.
Spraying bug spray, and it got some of the bug spray back on me. She's like, "Go change your shirt." Yeah, that happened.
Bug spray on?
Listen, that's a whole thing. We got gnats in the house.
What?
Yeah.
I want to hear more about these gnats.
How do you get rid of gnats?
Our divisional round playoff picks were so boring. You only got these gnats. Come on.
Well, here's what happened. I got a basil plant. Okay, we were growing some basil. We were using it. It was going well.
Growing basil.
I overwatered it, and we got gnats, and they're hard to get rid of.
Wow, you grow basil, huh?
Not anymore. Got rid of the plant.
So, the exterminator coming over or what?
No, I'm trying. The mixture is a teaspoon of tea tree oil in a cup of water, and you spray that. It kills them.
Was this Google or did you Google this or something?
Yeah, yep,
wow,
definitely.
So that's what happened at your house today.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
That's been an ongoing battle.
That's why you're wearing the brown shirt.
Yeah, I had a blue shirt on. Changed it to the brown.
To blame it on the gnats.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Wow. What are we looking at for time? This is fun, though, because it shouldn't be all sports. I mean, let's face it, those picks were fun to talk about. They're boring.
They are.
Disagree.
This doesn't sound like balls. That's what she said right there. You want to?
I want to be the voice guy, by the way, of this podcast.
Oh, do you? Okay. I'll record a few, and we'll see what we can throw in there.
I really wish. See, we got to have a. Not that your setup isn't good. Okay, it sucks.
No, it does. It does.
Because I really want to read what people are saying, but I believe you. No one's really saying anything. No offense. I'm sure your wife's saying nice stuff, but I mean, look, we got.
She's excited for baseball and eyebrow braiding.
Besides picking out the same shirt, we need to figure out a better setup, like where you and I can both read the screen. And man, your arm must be so tired.
It is. I keep switching. I've been looking into possibly getting a tablet, which would make for a bigger screen, and then maybe you could see it better. But then there's still the issue of where do we put it and how do we mount it. And,
someday when we're doing
this is better. Actually,
someday when we're doing episode 182, we're going to look back on episodes 1 and 2 and go, "What in God's name were we thinking?" See, get a little view of the studio.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on just the podcast right now, you can go on YouTube and I'll post the video and you can see exactly what we're talking about as we're going through these shenanigans, trying to get the camera angle right, and let me take a selfie.
Seriously. Well, this is what Shane and I will be texting about over the next week. How we can figure out who's going to hold the phone, or how we can both. Let's face it, this is probably the better of the two studios we have here.
Yes, it is.
We're very gracious that we can use our studios here at work. Although the boss has been walking back and forth and wondering.
Has he pacing out there?
Well, here's the thing. He's wondering why I should be up on lock today. Shh. Because I do afternoons on.
Meanwhile, there's a 20-car pileup out there, and Keith's not telling anyone.
By the way, if
I
ever have to run out of here during one of our Tuesday podcasts, Shane knows he has to,
I carry the show for a few minutes. I carry the show anyway. Let's be honest.
Also, we got to thank our bosses for letting us do this, because even though you're not on the air technically yet, I am. So
absolutely.
But you have to bring the podcast up to the Roxy studio.
Dave Elder, Jim Reed, thank you.
Yes. Any other asses we want to kiss here while we're at it?
Let's see. Andy, I guess.
We would have
to, yeah. Oh, wait, you're going to go way up the ladder, huh?
Yeah. We might as well go right to the top. Let's see.
I'm gonna call this time of death 5:40 p.m.
Now listen, folks. This is only a second episode. We are building. We will have hopefully next week somebody holding a phone, or Shane will go out in another brown shirt and go invest in not only another brown shirt, but something to hold a phone. This is so ghetto, man. Oh my God, this is so ghetto.
Listen, we do what we can,
Yeah, we're doing what we can. But this time next week, we hope to have a better system in place. But in the meantime, we're just having fun doing this, and that's the bottom line. We're glad you're here, liking the page, Talkin Balls, what did I say?
Talkin Balls.
Yeah. Talkin Balls, and all the other social. Media
he once drank 147 beers on a cross-continental flight.
Was it 147?
I just made the number up. I know it's a huge, ridiculous number. Yeah,
right.
There was a whole episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia about it.
I don't know if that was a myth, but I think you're right.
I'm sure it was a myth. Anybody who drank that much beer would be dead by the time
it was a cross-country flight. Yeah.
I know, but that's like what, 4 hours?
I would have passed. Put it in the box. Then he probably went out.
You drink 20 beers in 4 hours, and you're done.
Went 4 for 4 the following day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, good second podcast. Okay, that was a lie. It really sucked. I'm kidding.
How were we better in week 1 than week 2? I don't know how that happened.
I can't. Okay, you totally blocked out my head now. You trying to tell me something? There we go.
Listen.
Yeah, this is over. This is
all right.
over right now. Not the podcast itself.
Right.
This particular one is over, but okay.
Might actually have to do some editing to this podcast because there's some stuff in there. Oh, okay. All right. That does it for episode number 2 of Talkin Balls podcast.
#TrainWreck.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Go Pats.